Good morning, children. Today our topic is the female reproductive system. Now let us just quickly recapitulate our previous lesson, which was on the male reproductive system, where we have learned that testis is the primary sex organ. The function of the testis was to produce the sperm. The secondary or the accessory sex organs was vas deferens, epididymis, the penis and the urethra, and their function was in the storage, nourishment and transport of the male gamete. And there were also some accessory glands like seminal vesicles, prostate gland and Cowper's gland, the secretions from which made the semen alkaline and gave the semen its milky nature. Right? So we will have a similar approach in the female reproductive system as well, where we will see the organs that make up the female reproductive system. So when it's a system, it is obviously made up of some organs. So which organs make up the female reproductive system? So the female reproductive system is made of, firstly, the primary sex organ. The primary sex organ in case of the females is ovary. And why are we calling ovary as the primary sex organ? Why? When do we call an organ to be the primary organ of some system? Only when it performs some primary function. So ovary here in the female reproductive system has a primary function of producing the female gamete. And what is the female gamete? The female gamete is the egg or the ovum. Yeah. Coming to the second sex organ, and that is the secondary sex organs. Why are we calling it secondary sex organs, or we can also call it accessory sex organs? Why? Because these sex organs, they directly do not participate in the primary function or in the function of producing the egg or ovum. Their function is secondary. What do? They produce, they store, they nourish, they transport the ovum or the egg. So let us see which are the secondary sex organs. So the first secondary sex organ is the fallopian tube. The second one is uterus. The third one is vagina. And the fourth one is external genitalia. Now we will look into each and every organ's location, their structure and their function in details. Right? But first we will see, how does a female reproductive system look like, and exactly which portions of the female reproductive system is, the primary sex organ and the secondary sex organ. Okay. So this is a female reproductive system, and this is the front view of the female reproductive system. So from the front or anteriorly, we see the reproductive system in this way. So let us see which one is the primary sex organ or the ovary. So this rounded or this ovoid-like structure which is present on both the sides is the ovary. Right? So this is the primary sex organ. Let us go into the secondary ones. The secondary one is the first one is the fallopian tube. Which one is the fallopian tube? Okay, so this tube-like structure which is holding the ovary, it is known as the fallopian tube. Fine. The next one is fimbriae. Now, fimbriae is not any organ of the reproductive system, but it is a part of the fallopian tube. The end of the fallopian tube here is known as fimbriae over here. This portion is known as the fimbriae. Now, the finger-like projections that we see at the end of the fallopian tube is known as the fimbriae. Clear? The next one is the uterus. So, this muscular body is known as uterus, and this uterus is lying in between your bladder and rectum. Right? We'll go into the details of the structures in our next slides. The next one is cervix. So what is the cervix? The cervix is a neck-like structure which is kind of connecting the uterus to the next end part of the reproductive system, that is vagina. Okay, so which one is vagina? This one is the vagina. So cervix is kind of connecting the uterus and the vagina. And finally, there's a lining present in the uterus which is known as the endometrium. So this endometrium is nothing but a lining of blood vessel. Right? Now we will get into the details of the ovary, its location, its structure and its function. So ovary is located on either side of the pelvic cavity. What is the meaning? The meaning is it is located on either side of the abdominal cavity. So pelvic cavity is also called as the abdominal cavity. Right? And it remains suspended by a suspensory ligament. So the ovary on both the sides of the pelvic cavity remains suspended with the help of a ligament. Right? We'll see the drawing. We can see here. So we see this is the ovary. Right? This is the fimbriae, right? This is the ovarian ligament that is connecting the ovary to the uterus. This is the uterus. And there's a broad ligament which is attaching the ovary with a fold of peritoneum which is known as mesovarium. So you can just see here that here we find a structure which is known as mesovarium. So this mesovarium is a fold of peritoneum which is holding or is suspending the ovary on both the sides of the abdominal cavity. Clear? What is the structure? The ovaries are considered as the female gonads. So gonad means the organ which is producing the gametes. So ovary is producing the gametes, so it is the female gonad. It is whitish in color, located on the lateral wall of the uterus. So I told you this is the uterus. So this is just located, ovary is located laterally to the uterus, and the region where it is located, this region is known as ovarian fossa. The length of the ovary is 3.5 centimeter, the width is 2 centimeter, and the thickness is 1 centimeter, and the ovary weighs 8 to 10 grams. Right. Now, how does an ovary look like from inside?